Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm going to be giving you part 21 of What If Naruto Awaken the Rinne-Tenseigan. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Failed His Genin Test and was given intense training over on Anime King, and enjoy that. And if you're new and this is the first time you're hearing my voice, yes, I have 3 channels: Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last part we left off, Danzo was angry, given the fact that Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki was back. Having the greatest Bijo in history, it was a good boost for Konoha, but with him lost, it gave Danzo more power, and he could do what he want. Reason being, Tsunade lost her hope to become Hokage. Yes, she barely paid attention to what she's doing, signing documents and doing things that she didn't even understand most of the times, as she just put her stamp of approval. She might be the face of the village, but Danzo was the one controlling from behind the scenes. Things were being constructed and she had no idea about it. So that is why he was pissed off when his root came back with the news that that brat was back. Suddenly a root, yes, a literal tree root burst inside, and the thing seemed to pinpoint on him before sending spikes everywhere, as Torun and Fu came to his protection and blocked it. As Danzo wondered what the hell was going on. Meanwhile, upstairs, we went into a flashback as Naruto had left Madara as he was 9 years old. Usually Madara slept for weeks because his body was weakened and he was surviving off the tree, so he slept for weeks to regain his strength. So Naruto left. Naruto was angry. Yes, the things that the people of Konoha did to him, the beating, and Madara already corrupting his mind when he was younger. Naruto didn't want them to go in an eternal sleep. He wanted them to feel pain. He wanted them to suffer. He didn't want them to live peaceful dreams. So that is why he went against Madara's plan from he was 9. There he revived his parents, as he changed Minato's hair color for some reason. But he also changed her body, because it was not their body overall, as it was 2 dead ninja, a male and a female. He used his Rinne-Tenseigan to modify their body so they could hold the power that he was going to bestow upon them, as he mixed the fox chakra inside as well, creating 2 different beings entirely, but they had their soul that he took from the Shinigami, as he took something else. That is when the Shinigami had placed the virus inside Naruto's system that was eating him up from he was 9 years old. But the more he expelled his power, the more it got worse. That is why when he was older, it was almost killing him. As we end the flashback, everyone was shocked, as they couldn't believe what they were seeing. Minato and Kushina, they were alive. Jiraiya couldn't understand or believe all this was possible. But it was then that Minato and Kushina started to lash out. They started to attack. Something was wrong, despite the harsh treatment that Naruto went through. As Minato brought up something in the sky, everyone could see the young Naruto on it, no more than 4 years old, getting kicked out of the orphanage and getting severely beaten by the mob that was waiting for him at the orphanage door, as a woman had closed the door behind him and did it on purpose. It seems like she was the one that also called the mob to tell that the demon brat was all alone and he was severely beaten. Konoha then started erupting chaos as a vengeful Hokage started to destroy everything in sight and slaughter people as well. Kushina was no exception. Her silver chains pierced through ninjas after ninjas, as they start to retaliate. After all, they couldn't all fall, as the battle erupted even more. Sasuke made his way down towards where Danzo was, as Naruto took care of the root while Sasuke took care of Danzo. As Naruto was going to tell Sasuke that he was using these Nagi to bring himself back to life, to rewrite reality with those Sharingans. But he gave Sasuke a clue though. That is why Sasuke was able to understand. Danzo knew that he was losing. He tried to use Shisui's eyes on Sasuke, but Naruto stepped in the way. As Danzo really thought that it actually worked, but Naruto simply got back up. It didn't affect him, as he told Danzo that those eyes are far inferior to his. Danzo started to run, as Naruto told him to let him run, as the both of them simply walked, following behind him. So yeah guys, that was basically the last one left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself so this begins new episode. Danzo burst out of his hidden escape path. It was one of the alleyways in the slums of Konoha, where a protective seal had been placed up. To me, it seemed like it was just a wall, but in fact it was one of the hatch going down into the root. This was the slums of Konoha. No one really checked around here, and the seal was well reinforced. As Danzo rushed out of the alleyway only to pause, the first thing his eyes settled on was the monument. The monument that was no longer there. Only thing that remained was rubble. So that is where all the sound and the chaos came from. The village was in shambles. Buildings were destroyed. There was something circling in the sky. A behemoth. Some kind of monster. As Danzo watched smoke bellowing from almost every building around him. As he heard cries of pain. People trapped on their buildings. Some of them skewered. Holes left in their bodies. Like something had ripped right into them. Some of them had their throats slits. Some of them had their head decapitated. As Danzo looked towards the two figures that were attacking his home, he then turned his head back towards the door that was blown open. The entire alleyway completely destroyed. As Naruto stepped out, with Sasuke behind him, Danzo leaped onto the nearest broken roof as he started to leap away until he felt something grab him. It wasn't a physical touch, it was like force attraction as he was yanked. Bam! His body smashed into the ground. Danzo winced in pain as he felt his old bones creak. He couldn't do anything else. He didn't have the strength to fight them off, and he could not recover if he was killed once again. Danzo didn't see any way out of this, as he didn't know how things could go so bad so quickly. As he cursed in his mind, how could he feel so badly? The only thing he wanted to do was protect Konoha, and yet here he was, almost drawing his last breath, unable to do anything to the invaders destroying his home. As his face turned into a snarl, he picked himself up. The two of them walking towards him. Danzo tore his shirt as he activated his seal. If I'm going down, I'll be taking you two with me as well, he said. Black ink started to spew out of his body. What the hell's going on, said Sasuke. Seems like he's trying to kill us. Or perhaps seal us away, said Naruto in a rather calm tone, before he moved as he slammed his hand on Danzo's chest. Danzo felt all the chakra out of the seal ripped away, the seal ripping from his skin. As Naruto stepped back, Danzo dropped to his knees. Naruto grabbed Danzo by his hair. Well, Danzo, seems like all of your planning, all of your underground work, all of the bad things you've done in your past has finally caught up with you. How do you feel, knowing that you're gonna die while watching your home burn? Do you have any last words, Naruto asked? Konoha will never fall. They will retaliate and fight back, Danzo said. And soon enough, you will be joining me where I'm going. After all, I'm not going somewhere pleasant, and I know you're not as well. You think that Konoha can best me? I know you, said Danzo. I might have not known what happened to you, but you know me? Know me, said Naruto. Oh, you have no idea what exactly I am, said Naruto. But I guess you'll never find out. Sasuke, would you mind doing the... Naruto couldn't get to finish that sentence as Sasuke slit Danzo's head right off, tearing through the man's neck without hesitation. As Naruto looked up at the man, still holding on Danzo's severed head. You know, you could have let me finish. You talk too much, said Sasuke. Let's get this over with, shall we? As Sasuke looked up in the sky at the dragon that just curled upon itself, before swooping down. Well then, said Naruto as he flew off, Sasuke leaping behind him. The both of them landed in the destroyed center of Konoha, where there was nothing but fire, flames everywhere. The dragon then came down, as it curled up around Naruto and Sasuke, its large body blocking everyone else. It was like they were inside of a ring. The dragon tough scales, the sunlight ricocheting off of it. On its head was Kushina and Minato. I see you got that bastard, said Minato. Yeah, said Naruto as he lifted up Danzo's head. He tried to survive, but it was for naught. But I can't take all the credit, said Naruto. Sasuke was the one that delivered the final strike. He deserved it, and even worse, said Kushina. Are you both okay, she asked. Yeah, we're fine, said Naruto. Suddenly, they were surrounded by ninjas from all sides. The dragon snarled towards them, the shinobis all tense as they got ready. Naruto hopped up on the dragon's head, his parents to each side, as Sasuke was behind him. He tossed Danzo's head towards the ground. Tsunade slapped the thing away because it was coming towards her. As she glared up at Naruto, her eyes filled with rage and hate. Jiraiya, right beside her, as Naruto sat down, in the middle of Konoha, where ninjas were coming from all angles, he simply sat down. Why? It was Jiraiya that spoke. Why do all of this? Because they hurt you when you were younger. They didn't know any better, they were just naive, foolish villagers. Doing this, is it gonna bring you any satisfaction? Tell me, Jiraiya said. All this time you acting like the naive fool, when it was all a game. And you two, what did he do to you? Minato, you promised that you would set your life down for Konoha any day, any time. You did. For your son and the village, you risked your life to steal 9 years away. And then you guys treated my son like a parasite, said Minato. And you expect me to forgive you all for that? I know it was bad, what they did to him. But this, chaos, destruction, did it really inquire this wrath? I guess it did, said Minato, as there was no concern in his voice around the village. He didn't seem to hear one bit. After all you did, none of you have any right to say anything. Haven't you watched all the memories? He was just 4 years old, yet you kick, you scorn, you beat him repeatedly. And only when he was on the bridge of dying did the envoy came and break it up. They were literally on the roof watching, and they did nothing. They did absolutely nothing. And yet you all run your mouth about peace and this and that, saying that you're good people when all of you are nothing but hypocrite, said Kushina. As Tsunade had her eyes fixated on Naruto. Seems I lied to you, Bachan, he said. She clenched her fist tight. You never wanted to be Hokage in the first place. Konoha took so much from you. It hurt you in so many ways. Your boyfriend, your brother, your entire clan, they took everything away from you. Konoha did. Why don't you come with me, said Naruto. Why don't you abandon this village before it takes anything else away from you? It's already in shambles, and the amount of headache that you will have to take on to fix all of this, it's just a waste of time. So why don't you give up on the village? And come with me, said Naruto, and make up your standards. Would do good where I'm going, said Naruto. You lied to me, said Tsunade. All that bullcrap about carrying on hope, this and that. It was just an act. I must say you fooled me quite well. But not anymore. You're a monster, she said. Look at what you've done. You've caused all of this. I don't know how you obtained those eyes, or what exactly, or who exactly are you. But know this. You will pay for what you've done, she said. Oh? So you're gonna kill me, Naruto asked. One way or another, she said. You will never break Konoha. The village will never fall. Well, I'm surprised. I thought you wanted to give up after I died. I did. I wonder what was the hope left. If the one person that gave me back hope died. But I realized that one person is nothing but a monster who's trying to destroy the dream my grandfather tried to promote. And the only way to stop a monster is by killing it. So you believe you can kill me? Tyrants don't last for long, Naruto. You think anyone can destroy a village and just remain free? Naruto jumped off the dragon as he landed. Tell me, which one of you are gonna stop me, he said. Kakashi, Guy, Jiraiya, or you? Sakura, you became a prominent shinobi since we were gone. Are you gonna be the one to end my existence? I mean, I know you were always obsessed with Sasuke. Would you rather not come with us? It's been literal pain for you since we were gone. But now that we're alive, there he is. Why don't you come with us, Sakura? I mean, you've been trained by Tsunade herself as well. Come on, join us. Sasuke's on my side. Don't you want Team 7 to be back to normal without Kakashi? Sakura looked at him as she narrowed her eyes. She had to do the right thing here. She had to. I will stop you, she said. Another failure, said Naruto. As Naruto smirked as a green blur rushed towards him. A kick that was aimed right toward his skull to knock him out. Guy was furious. Lee was coming from the other side. The reason being, Tenten was dead. She was one of the unlucky ones that had her throat slit. As the two, massive force, tried to collide with Naruto in the center, who simply stood right there, unmoving. Boom! Everyone saw their kick slam into a skeleton figure. Bones, nothing but bones, a ribcage, and a skull covered Naruto's entire body. Two arms materialized out of literally nothing. They tried to grab both Lee and Guy, but the both of them twisted and leaped away. As the skeleton faded away. It's not the proper time, said Naruto. After all, the people must understand what they did. They must realize that I'm coming back for them. To kill them right now isn't going to quell my anger. I want them to understand that there is nowhere in this earth that they can leave and be safe. And there's nothing that can stop me from walking through that gate over there and coming to end their life at any moment. I want them to know, I want them to understand that one day of them living their life, I will just come and end it all. And there's not a single one of you that can stop me, he said. Tsunade moved as she had enough. Her fist cocked back as Naruto simply leaped away. As he landed on Dragon's head, Tsunade kept up as she slammed her fist right into the dragon's face. Well, she tried to. At the last moment, she stopped herself as his scales had came up. They literally came up. If she hadn't stopped, her hand would have been pierced. All of the ninjas around started to go through hand signs. As the dragon flapped its wing, a massive gust blowing everyone back. Most of them landed on their feet. Jutsus after jutsus were launched. Choza, Akimichi, along with Choji, both of them grew large. A larger portion of the Nara clan attached their shadow to the dragons, trying to control it. As everyone was lashing out, Jiraiya held out his hand as a Rasengan form. He will stop them. As Sakura clenched her fists. She won't let them leave, not after all of this. Why the hell are we just standing here, said Sasuke. As he saw, neither Kushina or Minato had moved. And Naruto still had his back turned to Sasuke. He was just looking down at all of them as they prepared to counter. Let them think they have a chance, said Naruto. After all, it's better when you rip hope away from someone who think they can actually win. Jiraiya, Tsunade, Choza, Choji, Sakura, Lee, Neji, Guy, all the shinobis launched their attack. This area of Konoha was already torched and destroyed, so a little bit more destruction wouldn't change anything. At least it will stop these monsters. As all of the attacks came in, as Naruto muttered the words, Almighty, push. boom! The explosion wasn't normal as a force. The laws of gravity seemed to be playing against them. Their attacks, their physical hits, everything was thrown. The violent explosion blew out from the dragon vicinity and blew every single thing away. The ground erupted, houses, buildings were turned upside down. Only the center that the ninjas weren't touched. Naruto and his group, that was. The others, they were sent sailing like ragdolls. It wasn't a full-scale almighty push that would devour the entire village. After all, he wanted them to still have a home, to know that he was coming for them one day, not to just destroy it, made them run away. After all, people, when feared, always did the irrational thing. But the explosion threw everyone back. As Naruto patted the dragon in his head, the dragon, he could fully move himself now, those pesky shadows not on him anymore. As he flapped his wings and took off. "Wait," said Sasuke. "The other two elders." "You don't have to worry about that," said Naruto. "I handle it. I knew you wanted to, but at least they're gone." Sasuke snarled. It didn't really matter anymore now. As he looked down the wild-scale destruction, people tried to pick themselves back up, but everything was just a mess. The dragon then flew off. Meanwhile, Homura and Konoha were underground, in a secret bunker of theirs, hiding. Yes, usually when these things happen, they came down here to hide. After all, they had long since passed their prime to fight, and they didn't have the chops to fight anymore. That is why they were hiding. Suddenly, the walls itself started to crack open. They had been hearing many explosions upstairs, but they decided to just stay down here. After all, once everything was over, they could rebuild. As long as Konoha didn't fall, as long as the will of fire was still a thing, as long as hope was not extinguished. But to their surprise, hands came from the walls. Yes, literal hands. As someone pulled himself out. It was like he was growing inside. His body made of wood. Tree wood. As a wood clone of Naruto emerged. "Ah, finally found you two." Both of them stepped back as they narrowed their eyes. "You?" "Yes, me." As the clone simply smiled. Time skip. Snazzy was in a tent, along with Jiraiya. Given the fact that the entire office had been blown to smithereens when Naruto first released that almighty push, many people had to stay in a tent until things were rebuilt around the village. There had been many chaos. Yamato is going to be one stressful person, given his Mokiton. But no one was thinking about that at the moment. Snazzy was pissed off. She spent the last 3 years feeling bad in herself that she was unable to save that brat that just literally almost destroyed the village, who had told him that he was going to be coming back. But Jiraiya, on the other hand, he was losing his mind. He just couldn't understand. "They've turned against us, Jiraiya. What can't you understand? It's Minato and Kushina. Despite everything, they wouldn't have gone this far. He must have done something to them. I have no idea what exactly those eyes of his can do. I can see that they're the Rinnegan, but the legend of the Rinnegan, which I've seen before, that is something completely different. I don't understand what exactly is it. But it's not only the Rinnegan, or yet, if it is, it's a more powerful version. Even if he was able to bring them back to life, he changed them in some way. That can't be them. Even if he did, what are we gonna do about it? Damn it, we have no idea what he's capable of fully. Through all of this, he's barely even breaking a sweat. Yet he can toss around high deadly techniques. He can control nature itself, gravity. How the hell are we gonna stop him? Do you know how she acts? Because I'm completely stumped. And now Konoha is in a worse state than before. Even worse than when the sound and sand attacked us. As Snazzy released a breath, as she tried to calm herself. Being not calm right now isn't gonna be good for anyone. She was still the Hokage. And not to mention that whole other ordeal with Danzo. But the brat got his revenge. He threw Danzo's head towards me before he erupted that blast. I guess it was Sasuke the one that took him down. But you can see that none of them. We aren't able to save none of them anymore. I don't know what happened to him, or if he was even on our side to begin with. But we have to stop him. The people are scared, Jiraiya. Many died. They haven't even finished the calculations of how many deaths happened today. But it's more than thousands. She released another breath as she just leaned back in the chair that she was in. Her mind was just foggy right now. She didn't know what to do. She was stumped. She had no idea. As Jiraiya went quiet, he saw that she was taking it hard. Everyone was. But she was Hokage. She was stressing. He decided not to provoke it anymore. Yeah, you're right, he said. We'll have to find a solution on how to stop them. If we can, Jiraiya said. Because he really didn't see any way of them stopping Naruto like this. Unless they got him 1-on-1. And to be more frank, he still didn't have any idea what Minato was doing. It was like one moment he was there, and one moment he was not. And he was not the Higher-Shin. Jiraiya was confused. But he realized something. Whenever Minato used that ability, he couldn't fight. Yes, that was the part about it. He could not fight whenever he used that ability. So he didn't know exactly what was going on. Time skip. 3 days later, news had spread that Konoha was attacked by one of his own ninjas. The San had been alerted. Gar had found it incredibly strange that Naruto was back, and that he brought him back to life so easily, because he saw when Naruto died. But now he knew that he was all a host. So Gar was confused. Why did Naruto bring him back to life? And how exactly did he bring him back to life? As Gar was currently sitting in his office, his mind was thinking about the possibilities. Was Naruto gonna come to him? Yes. For him to repay his debt of him saving his life. But those people of Konoha, they did so much to him. Shouldn't they suffer for what they did? Gar shook his head. What the hell was he thinking? What the hell did he even say that? He thought to himself. He was confused. Of course, they were naive and idiotic, but no one deserved death for something like that. So why did he even think about that? Naruto was the one wrong here. Yes, he was the one wrong. So why did he even think that in the first place? His mind was perplexed. Of those thoughts popping into his head, he shrugged it off for now. He would just have to make sure it doesn't happen, as he had bulked the defenses. So he will be alerted the moment Naruto tried to enter this village. Because that seemed to be a knack of his, to walk straight in a village without giving a damn. Gar wouldn't allow that. The other thing was the information on who attacked them, the other person, Minato Namikaze and his wife Kushina Uzumaki. To believe that the 4th Hokage was Naruto's father all this time, and the 4th Hokage was no angry that his son was mistreated. Gar knew Kages. Despite their family and them going through hardships, they would do anything to protect their village. That is why he found it strange. The 4th, who was said to be a kind and incredibly kind man, who risked his life to seal 90th Fox, would destroy Konoha. That was strange. Really strange, Gar thought to himself. Meanwhile, at Kumo, no one knew how the news passed so quickly, but it did. As everyone, the Elemental Nation knew that Minato Namikaze, the 4th Kage, was alive, and he helped in destroying Konoha. As the Raikage was currently sitting behind his decks, quiet about the entire affairs. To get involved in this, he didn't see any reason. After all, if he did, and if the 4th decided to turn his attention on Kumo, he would definitely crush the man to pieces, but at the moment he didn't see any reason to get involved. And it wasn't like Konoha was completely destroyed. It was pampered but not destroyed. But to believe that man who has been calling himself Void, that enters village undetected, that was Minato? The Raikage was confused and uncertain. What the hell actually was going on? Meanwhile, at the Hidden Stone, the people were frantic. There was many celebrations when they finally heard that Minato Namikaze had died. That he had fell to the tail beast that tore him apart. Rumors were different through the hidden stone. Most of them delight in the thought they'd sleep happily, knowing that the great beast had ripped Minato to pieces. When that wasn't the case, but most of them believed that, because it made them feel a whole lot better to know that the man that caused them so much suffering was torn to pieces. But to find out that he was back, after all he did, that he was back to the land of living, and his first decree was to attack Konoha, most of them were confused. After all, if he was to have a grudge against anyone else, it would be them. For all that happened in the past, but still, that was freaking the people out. They had no idea what to expect. He hadn't come here. He hadn't attacked the village. So they were consoling that thought that he would not. After all, they lost so many ninjas in the war. So much. They weren't sure they could handle another attack from the Hiroshin. And from what the rumors say, he has gotten even more powerful. The Tsuchikage was taking this the hardest. The man banged his fist on the table in rage. He was confused. He was perplexed. How could that man be alive? So much years passed, and how could that man be alive? If he was hiding that he was alive this entire time, why would they do that? Why? It made no sense, just to reveal it now. He was confused. He could not understand. How can that man be alive? His mind instantly went on the fact if the man was going to try to attack here. An attack he was sure they won't last. The man was furious though, as one of his advisors just left. Just in case, he was preparing himself, preparing his entire forces. As someone walked into his office, it was his granddaughter, Kurosaki. Gramps, you must be blowing your skull over this, right? She said. Knowing you, you're overthinking things right now, aren't you? I don't need this, he said. I need some time to think. Yeah, I know you do, but if you do think, you're gonna overthink things. And you're gonna end up doing something stupid. What? Look, that man took a lot from us. He took a lot from everyone. And I know you're smarter than this. So don't do anything stupid that might get us all killed. I'm the Tsuchikage for years now. Do you think being a Kage for so long make you stupid, he asks. She simply smiled. Well, you are getting old. Get out of my office, he said. I was just here to cheer you up, she said, but bye. Just listen to my theories and don't do anything stupid. As she made her way off. She knew her grandfather can go a bit overboard and certain things don't go his way. Now hearing that man was alive, the man that they celebrated when died, her grandfather might go over the edge. Yeah, and if he did, that might cause a lot of problem for all of them. After all, he wanted that man dead more than anyone else in the world. That is why she wanted to make sure her grandfather was thinking before he did anything. As the Tsuchikage, Oniki, simply sit down. He didn't know what to do. For now, he decided to just lay back and see what was going to happen. After all, the man attacked Konoha, his former village. He surely lost it. After all, for a Kage to attack their own village, that was never heard of in history. Yes, in the history of Kages, that was never heard of. He will just have to wait and see what the future is going to bring him. Meanwhile, as three figures currently surrounded a single lamp in the room, the lamp flickered, showing their visuals. Obito, wearing his mask, going by Madara to Nagato and Konan. It seems that the nine-tailed Jinchuriki is back, said Nagato, as he was using the body of Danzo. This is surely a mystery. It seems like he was never with Konoha in the first place. And his father, Minato Namikaze, is also back, along with his mother, Kushina Uzumaki. Seems that they plan on destroying Konoha, but they fled before they could. And it seems like he has the same eyes as me, but different in some way. And what do you know about this? I am just in the dark as you. I had no idea that he was alive. After all, we were waiting on the Nine Tails to be revived. But know that He's alive. We can bring him in. Well, you can. I heard that he got quite the power up. Yes, it seems like he's been training. All this time Void. That was his father. Seems like he used a Rinne rebirth from the Rinnegan to bring him back. But one thing that threw me off though. Why would the Hokage, despite what happened to his son, attack his own village? From what I heard about the fourth Hokage, this man, that claims to be him and has the same facial features and everything, has a completely different attitude. Konoha was nearly destroyed. And it seems that they also have a strange summon, some sort of dragon. More and more mysteries keep on piling up. We need to find this Naruto Uzumaki and bring him in immediately. The more he runs, the more he does. And that will be detrimental to the Akatsuki plan if he keeps on getting away. I have already sent Zetsu to try and find his location. I will be going after him personally. Are you sure you can handle this? I mean, he does have the same eyes as you. It doesn't matter if he had the same eyes or not. He's a mere boy. Nothing compared to me. I will take him down and bring him here myself. And we will begin the extraction. Him, his father and mother, along with the Uchiha. None of them will stand a chance. Konoha narrowed her eyes with pain. She always had faith in him. But perhaps, he was overthinking things at the moment. He will need help, she thought to herself. But she will be there as well, no matter what he says, to help him along the way. As the masked man simply narrowed his eyes. Seems there was a lot that Naruto was still hiding from him. A lot. At the moment, despite not showing it, he was pissed. Yes, he was downright furious to find out that Minato Sensei was alive all this time. Naruto had revived his own father. So that is who Void was in the first place. And yet he said he didn't know. As Obito didn't want Naruto to live in the infinite Tsukuyomi world, he wanted to crush Naruto's throat with his own hand. Yes, that is what he would do. He would crush his throat. He would snap his neck, but he will ensure that he died. Just after he got the 9 tails. That was the only thing that he needed, the 9 tails. That was the only thing that he wanted after all. And once he got it, Madara, plan B damn. Even if Naruto had been brought in by Madara, he didn't care. He will die no matter what. Meanwhile, at Kiri, as Karen was currently sitting down, as she was tinkering a few things, she felt it from a long distance away. After all, their chakra was no normal thing to suppress, especially his, as she smiled to herself, as she got lost in a memory of when she was saved. Karen was crying. She had just lost her mother, and yet she was being used. She was bit all over her body. Certain places that she didn't even want to talk about, but she was bit severely over and over as they kept on seeping away her chakra to heal their body, to heal their wounds. They were in the midst of a war after all. A lot of their ninja was wounded, and she was put in a tent. Her arms, her feet was bound so she could not do anything. She was just crying. Every few seconds someone came in. She was sure if this kept up she was gonna die. But it has been at least 5 minutes now and there has been no one. As she just lay there crying. She felt that there was no hope. There was no way of her surviving this at all. She was gonna die and no one's gonna save her. As she just lay there, unmoving. It was then that she heard screams. As a gust of wind blew open the tent flap. She saw something outside. Her mind was blurry, her vision. Her entire body felt weak. But her focus snapped back as she felt it a tremendous amount of chakra. So large it clouded her senses. She felt like she wanted to puke. She felt like she wanted to hurl. It was too much. Who was this? A body was thrown. She could hear it slam outside. She heard screams of fright and terror. As it sounded like nothing but destruction was going on, her heart started to rapidly increase the beats. She was gonna die. Whoever that was, they were coming for her. As she heard the footsteps, the tent flap didn't open up. To her surprise, it was just a boy. Yes, it was a boy. Probably a year or two older than her. Or probably younger. Blonde hair. He had a smile on his face. But his eyes, a deep blue. with rings in them. They were so beautiful. As Naruto stepped inside, she stepped away from him. "It's alright," he said. "I'm not gonna hurt you." As he bent down, his hand started to glow. As he simply cut the restraint with one finger. "Can you stand?" he asked. She nodded, just going along with the motion as he helped her up. As he held onto her shoulder, she felt a warmth. Something rushed through her body, her vitals, her chakra stream. As to her surprise, all the markings, all the bites in her arms started to heal. As she watched him vanish away, her skin returning, unblemished. "My name is Naruto Uzumaki. It's nice to meet you," he said. "Uzumaki?" she said. In the flashback, as Karen smiled, that was the first day that she met Naruto, and ever since then, he had did everything in his ability to make sure that she was okay. As she was told to keep his identity a secret, and told to never speak to anyone about him, and who he showed her as well, his father that he brought back alive. He also told her what happened. She shook that thought out of her head for now. As the door beeped, as it opened up, she smiled when she saw him as he stepped inside. Karen wasted absolutely no time. She got out of her seat. She ran forward as she jumped right into his embrace. He had held his arms open so she would. As she hugged him, their relationship wasn't anything sexual or anything like that. It was more of a brother-sister relationship type. As he took care of her, he made sure that she was okay. And that was how she saw him, as her older brother. As she smiled, she then moved back before she punched him right in the arm. "Ow," he said, faking like hurt. "What took you so long? You were gone for so long and I haven't seen you. I haven't even heard anything from you. The only person that spoke about you was Minato, and you always said that you were busy." "So, what, you finally back?" she asked. As Naruto simply smiled. "Answer me, jackass," she said. "Yeah, I'm finally back," he said. "Calm down." Her anger was gone in a second. It was Uzumaki bravado. Always losing your temper for a quick second, and then you return back to normal. "Everything's alright now." "So you got what you wanted from Konoha?" "Yes," he said. "Next time, don't leave for so long, asshole," she told him. "I won't," he said, the smile on his face, as it once again reassured her that everything was fine. "So, I see you have been a busy girl," he says. He looked around. "Yeah, you like?" she said. "I've created all sorts of things. All the resources that you and Void had provided me with. It had helped a lot. Kiri is one of the most technological villages right now, despite us still being closed down. When are we gonna open up to the public?" "Soon," said Naruto. "Soon the world will know everything, and about the genius inventor, Karen Uzumaki." "I mean, you've really outdone yourself," said Naruto as he looked around. "Well, what do you expect?" she said. "I am a master at these things, and it's all because of you." As Naruto had brought her to the hidden snow that was the most advanced at the time, she had found technology, something that she seemed to be obsessed with. She studied there. What happened with Kiri? Naruto had moved her here. There was a lot that happened in the past, not to mention the massacre, but he moved her here, where she met up with the top scientists. They were, well, not so much advanced, but once she brought all that she learned in the books, they were able to create things that will change everything. Computers, phones. As everything over here was just so advanced, they were even past, long past what the land of snow had to offer. They were now the most technological country ever. But everyone thought they were just rebuilding after the Civil War. Everyone thought they were just broke down. But they will know soon enough, she thought to herself. Why the hell are we even here? Said the voice. Karen blinked as she turned her head towards that voice. As she saw him step in, long black hair, beautiful black eyes, and a face so handsome she blushed. As Sasuke stepped inside the room. Ah, Sasuke, just relax. It's only a matter of time before you got your revenge on Itachi. Don't worry, said Naruto. A part of Sasuke was still thinking about that. His brother had wronged him. Yes, his brother had wronged him by doing this. By choosing Konoha over him and the clan. By letting his parents die. He was the one that killed them, after all. Despite knowing the truth, Sasuke still wanted to hurt Itachi. He wanted him to pay. But a part of him could not understand why. But it was what Naruto said to do. He shook his head. Why would he care what Naruto said to do? Why was he even thinking about that? He then turned his head. After all, once everything is said and done, this is where we'll be staying. Oh, by the way, this here's my little sister, Karen Uzumaki. You have a sister? Not by blood, said Naruto. Hey, I'm not that little, said Karen. Nice to meet you. Sasuke Uchiha, I presume. Yes. How do you know my name? Well, Naruto spoke about you, she said. As she extended her hand. He took her hand and shook it. Yeah, nice to meet you, he said. So what are we doing here? As I said, Sasuke, just relax. Everything is being set up in the outside world. You have nothing at all to worry about. Just don't waste my time, Sasuke said. As he simply made his way over to a chair and sat down. Whoa, said Karen. As Naruto chuckled. Hey, what's so funny, she asked. Oh, nothing, said Naruto. Hey Karen, can you mind watching over Sasuke for me for a moment? There's something I gotta do. Hey, I'm not a damn kid, said Sasuke. As Naruto simply laughed as he walked away, without waiting for an answer. So, Sasuke, you interested in computers? Asked Karen. As Sasuke fully turned to look at her. Not really, he said. Well, there's a lot more I can show you, she said. As she made her way to her workstation. Meanwhile, as Naruto and Minato made their way down the hall, marching. As they paused, Minato pushed open the door. As everyone went quiet and turned towards them. So it's true. Most of the council members had no idea that man Void was Minato Namikaze. He was the one that saved their country. He was the one that saved them when they were in a desperate situation. They all owe him their life. And he had brought money. He brought stability. He brought fundings to help them out. He brought so many things. They saw him as a leader. And he took that role. But not him alone. Apparently his son, Naruto Uzumaki, who seemed to be a better leader than his father. After all, when he came here, they took charge so quickly, despite no one trusting them at first. And it was weird that now, they were here. Ninjas from Konoha, now, seeming to be in charge of Kiri. It was strange. Only the higher heads, the real high heads knew. For the members of the council, they only know him as Void. And, for some reason, they could not remember Naruto's name or who he was. Only when they saw him they remember everything, but other than that, they could not remember a single thing. They didn't know what he did to their mind, but other than them seeing him, they couldn't remember who exactly he was. But it wasn't that way for Void. They remember who Void was. But they couldn't remember Naruto for some reason. It was strange. And none of them questioned that because their mind told them not to question it. It was weird. Well, as you all can see, I'm back, said Naruto. I thought I would get a better welcome, he said. All of the council members bowed their head. Welcome back, Naruto-sama, they said. Full-grown mans bowing. To a boy, after all, he was rather young. And they were council members of Kiri Force for years now. Even before Yagura had took up the mantle, some of them were really old. And yet they were bound to the Konoha ninja. And for some reason it wasn't strange to them. They saw him as their leader. It was really weird, but they saw him as such. After all, he did so much for them. He helped them in so many ways. Because the civil war was brutal and they all were gonna die if it wasn't for him. That is why he's a leader. Minato looked towards his son with a smile. As Naruto simply smiled back. Well then, people of Kiri. As you can see, we have made strides in evolving our society. Everyone is living comfortably now. Finances, resources, everything. Medical care, schools, hospitals. Everything is running properly in Kiri. After a long, heartful civil war, the village has returned better, stronger than before, better than every other nation, the elemental nation. Am I right? Yes, all of them said, with a proud smile on their faces. Kiri, he's better than before. The village has never been in this way before, and that is all thanks to you, Naruto-sama. As Naruto smiled, thanks. You flatter me, he said. But on to our next course of business. The other nation, they're not as advanced or strong as us. Our ninjas had been put through rigorous training for the purpose of not starting a civil war again, so that we can stop it before it ever happened. But I apologize to say that was a lie. That wasn't the main reason. Then what was it? A woman asked as she was in her late 50s. Her name was Kaya. As I said, the other nations, they are not as advanced. They are not as strong as us. And yet they think that Kira is below the bottom. They think that they are better just because we have locked our borders for years now. But it's time that that all change. Because we're gonna take everything. All the other nations should bow. They should see Kira as the one true ruler. After all, we deserve it, don't we? After everything we've been through. Yes, the people said. Well then, we're going for something big. Something that I'm sure you all will be proud of. And what's that? Another one asks. Oh, it's quite simple, said Naruto. World domination. But guys, if you end episode right here, if you want next part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off now, see you guys soon. Peace.